Hey everyone, it's Alex, and I am here with another video update for the 90th Academy Awards. This time, I'm going to be taking a look at the contenders for Best Animated Short Film. Now, the short film categories are always a unique category at the Academy Awards because they're always the ones that not too many people are aware of and often not too many of the general public see because they're not always available for people to see. I usually catch these films every year because my local art house theater will take all the animated shorts, live action shorts, and documentary shorts and put them in these little packages and screen them for people to come and see. And I quite like watching these short films because it's always interesting to see the talent that's put into these films, considering the restraints that these films have for them to be eligible. Because this is one of those categories where there's a lot of conditions that a film needs to adhere to for it to be eligible. The first and most obvious thing is the running time. Any short film cannot be longer than 40 minutes, maybe a minute or two if it's like an important one, but 40 minutes is generally the maximum length allowed. And also in the case of animated short films, at least 75% of the short film must include some type of animation. Now, there are three ways for a short film to be eligible, whether it's animated or live action. The first way it can be eligible is if it's exhibited for paid admission in a movie theater in Los Angeles for at least 7 consecutive days. The second way it can be eligible is through winning a qualifying award at a competitive film festival as specified by the Academy's Short Film Qualifying Festival list. And then the third way it can be eligible is if the film has won a gold, silver, or bronze medal in the Academy's 2017 Student Academy Awards competition in the Animation, Narrative, Alternative, or Foreign Film category. And for a film to follow any of these criteria, it has to have done so between October 1st, 2016 and September 30th, 2017, because the submission deadline for these short films was Monday, October 2nd, 2017 at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Now for this category, according to the Academy press release, 63 films were originally submitted. What all 63 of those films were, I do not know, because while the Academy will release lists of full contenders for certain categories, for others, like the short films, they don't usually reveal the full list. They'll reveal how many were submitted, but then they'll just reveal the 10 films that have been whittled down as the semi-finalists, which is what they've done here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reveal what the 10 semi-finalists are, and then I'm going to talk about them. So here are the 10 films that are eligible for Best Animated Short Film for the 90th Academy Awards. Cradle, Dear Basketball, Fox and the Whale, Garden Party, In a Heartbeat, Life Smartphone, Lost Property Office, Lou, Negative Space, Revolting Rhymes. Now for these films' plot summaries, I've gathered most of them off of IMDb or the websites of these films or anything I could really find. So here are what all of these contenders are about. Cradle. Returning to the USA after losing both arms overseas, a young veteran battles phantom pains, prosthetics, and memories of his pre-war life while reaching for a sense of normalcy. Dear Basketball. On November 29, 2015, Kobe Bryant penned a letter in the Players' Tribune announcing his retirement from basketball at the end of that season. This film is the visualization of that letter, narrated by Kobe, scored by John Williams, and animated by Glenn Keane. And since Kobe Bryant was technically the writer of this film on the Academy's press release, he is listed as a potential nominee should the film get nominated. So yes, we could very well see Kobe Bryant get nominated for an Oscar in January. Admittedly, that's something I never thought I would see because professional athletes don't always usually get Oscar nominations. But hey, if he manages to obtain it, congratulations to him. Fox and the Whale. the tale of a curious fox who goes in search of an elusive whale. I tried finding any more information I could about that one, but that was all I could find. Garden Party. In a deserted rich house, a couple of amphibians explore their surroundings and follow their primal instincts. In a Heartbeat. A closeted boy runs the risk of being outed by his own heart after it pops out of his chest to chase down the boy of his dreams. This, of course, is that short film that went viral on YouTube over the summer and received a lot of praise. So who knows, if it gets nominated, perhaps it may even well win. Life Smartphone. The phenomenon of increasing smartphone addiction can be attributed to today's cutting-edge technology. Staring at glowing screens instead of exploring the vast expanse of life, people are gradually alienating themselves from the richness, depth, and loveliness of life. Now, this is an interesting short film because I didn't see any voice cast on IMDb, and according to IMDb, its running time is only like 3 minutes long. So my guess is this film must be just entirely people gazing at their smartphones or playing with them or doing something with them. Admittedly, when I first learned about this movie, I had a bad vibe in my stomach, almost as if I was watching the Emoji Movie again, but I'm guessing since this is only 3 minutes long, it will be nothing like the Emoji Movie, and I certainly hope it isn't, because the Emoji Movie is just one of those movies that just should not exist at all. Alright, next, Lost Property Office. Ed is the sole custodian of a lost property office. In many ways, he is like the lost items gathering dust. But although he is content to remain this way, a letter on his desk states otherwise. How he chooses to move on from his past is somewhat unorthodox. Lou. A Pixar short about a lost and found box and the unseen monster within. This was the short film that played in front of Cars 3 if you went to go see that in the theater. And this was a cute little short. It was a short about a lost and found box where all the objects in it literally come to life. And when this one kid steals a backpack that's not his, and the lost and found box on the playground notices him doing it, let's just say they decide to teach him a lesson. Alright. Negative Space. Negative Space is a short animated film that depicts a father and son relationship through the act of packing a suitcase, based on a 150-word prose poem by Ron Courtjie. I don't know if I pronounced that right. And then finally, Revolting Rhymes. 2 half-hour animated films based on the much-loved rhymes written by Roald Dahl and illustrated by Quentin Blake. So when I went on IMDb for Revolting Rhymes, I noticed there were 2 films with that name, both revolving around this plot and based on the book by Roald Dahl. So I don't know if both films are going to be playing back-to-back and were submitted together as one film, or if there are indeed separate films and we're only seeing one part, if it should get nominated. Because at this point, I have no idea what is going to get nominated. So those are all the contenders. Now, if I had to predict which ones will be nominated, that's going to be a tricky one, because with these short films, you know, they could go any way. Sometimes a few might be more obvious to predict than others, based on either the company that made them or how much media attention they've gained, but otherwise it's just kind of anyone's random guess. But if I had to try and guess what will be nominated, I think In a Heartbeat is probably a lock to be nominated, because there's just been so much buzz about it when it was released on YouTube, and many people expressing strong love and admiration for it. Critics were highly enthusiastic about it, and a lot of people praised it for taking on a subject that most animated short films don't take, and that's about a gay kid dealing with his feelings for someone else. Lou, I think, also has a strong chance of being nominated because it's Pixar, and Pixar short films almost always get nominated here. They don't always necessarily win, but they do usually get nominated, and earlier this year, the Pixar short Piper actually won this category, and that was the short film that had played in front of Finding Dory. And I think that totally deserved its win, and in my opinion, it was one of Pixar's greatest short films they ever produced. I don't think Lou is quite as good as Piper, but I enjoyed it for what it was. And next I'm going to go ahead and say Dear Basketball will actually be nominated. So yes, I'm going to predict Kobe Bryant will get an Oscar nomination. And I don't think it's just going to be because of him that this film will get attention. I think the fact that John Williams did the music for it and Glenn Keane animated it will attract some members of the short films and feature animation branch. Obviously, everyone knows who John Williams is, but if you've never heard of Glenn Keane, let's just say that if you grew up in the 90s and you watched the Disney Renaissance films over and over, Glenn Keane was one of the major animators at Disney during the Disney Renaissance, and he helped create many iconic characters. I believe he was the main animator for the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. And I think he was the main animator for Aladdin in Aladdin. I know he animated Tarzan in Tarzan. If I mistakenly named something another animator animated, then I apologize, because I'm not good at matching the Disney animators to the characters they created, because while I love Disney, I'm not a big Disney nerd that knows every inside secret about them. But basically, Glenn Keane is a legend within the animation industry, and he's made a couple of short films in the past which were submitted for Oscar consideration but not nominated, one of which a few years ago was Duet. That was a really good film. That, I believe, was in the 10 contenders, but ultimately it was not nominated. But I did see it when I did go to see the animated short film package that my art house theater provided, because quite a lot of the time the animated short films don't take up the full 40-minute maximum runtime. Most of them might only be anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes at the most, and since they try to fill up a 2-hour space as much as possible, the theaters will take other animated films that might have been submitted for consideration for the Oscars but were not nominated, and then play those after the 5 nominees are played. They don't usually do that with the live-action shorts and the documentaries, because most of the time those short films do take up almost all of the maximum running time. So you'll get 5 nominees in both those categories that'll be 30 to 40 minutes long each. But the animated shorts are usually a lot shorter, and so therefore they put more in to pad out the running time. But it's still a cool thing to see these films, because it allows you to see the artistry that's out there and just how diverse the field of animation really is. So that, I think, will be the 3rd nominee. As for the 4th and 5th, I think Cradle could be the 4th nominee, because every year when I've seen these animated films, there's always at least one nominee that deals with a very dark or a very serious subject matter that might not necessarily be appropriate for kids. And in fact, in 2 different years, the packages of animated shorts included a film in which a parental advisory flashed on the screen before the film played, and the parents were urged to take their kids out of the theater because, it was not appropriate for them. I don't know if Cradle will go that far, but just based on what I've seen, it sounds like it's going to deal with some very serious subject matter that may not necessarily be good for kids, especially little kids, to deal with. And then for the 5th nominee, this is tough to pick. I'm just going to randomly pick Fox and the Whale. And it just sounds like the name of a film that would get nominated in a category like this. And the name is very intriguing as well, The Fox and the Whale. Because when you think of a story about 2 animals, a fox and a whale are as different as you can get, and you wonder, how is a story about a fox and a whale going to work? And why is this fox going searching for a whale? Because nothing I found on the internet can tell me why, or at least just the main reason why, because obviously they're not going to give away full spoilers. But yeah, so my predicted nominees in alphabetical order as of right now are Cradle, Dear Basketball, Fox and the Whale, In a Heartbeat, and Lou. So We'll see how right or wrong I am once the Oscar nominations are announced on Tuesday, January 23rd. But if you've seen any of these films, please leave a comment in the comments section below and tell me what you think of these films. Did you like them? Did you hate them? And also let me know what films you think will be nominated in this category. And please subscribe to my channel if you've not yet already done so you can get my newest videos as soon as they're uploaded. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!